The Colosseum. You've seen it in movies. You've seen it on postcards. But what if I told you it was built with something darker than just stone and ambition? What if I told you that the building you're looking at right now was funded by the systematic destruction of an entire nation? That 9,000 animals died in its opening week alone, and that over 400,000 people would perish within its walls before the final spectacle ended. This is not legend. This is history. And the truth about Rome's greatest monument is far more shocking than you ever imagined. Rome, 69 AD. The empire is collapsing. Nero is dead. 4 emperors have claimed the throne in a single year. The city is tearing itself apart. Then, a military general seizes power. His name is Vespasian. His mission, restore Rome. But Vespasian doesn't rebuild the temples or repair the Senate. Instead, he makes a calculation. The people are broken, demoralized. They need a distraction. They need a reason to believe in Rome again. Vespasian looks at the heart of Rome, where Nero had built himself an obscene private palace and surrounded it with an artificial lake. And he makes a decision. He will tear down Nero's palace. He will drain the lake. And on that site, he will build something never seen before. Something so massive, so grand, that Rome will forget its suffering. He would build the largest amphitheater in the world. But here's where the story turns dark. In 70 AD, the same year construction begins, Vespasian's son Titus leads a brutal military campaign in Judea. The Jewish temple in Jerusalem is sacked. The city is destroyed. Thousands of prisoners are captured and enslaved. The treasures of the temple are looted. The sacred artifacts, the gold, the wealth, and a reconstruction of an ancient inscription found at the Colosseum reveals the truth. The Emperor Vespasian ordered this amphitheater to be erected from the proceeds of the booty. The Colosseum was built on the blood and gold of destroyed Jerusalem. Between 60,000 and 100,000 slaves, many of them prisoners from Judea, are forced to quarry, transport, and construct a building, travertine limestone from quarries 20 miles away, massive stone blocks weighing tons, thousands of iron clamps holding it together, all of it built in a little under 8 years. A timeline that would be impossible today with modern equipment. The Colosseum takes shape. For stories tall, 189 meters long, 156 meters wide, nearly 50 meters high, a capacity of 50,000 to 80,000 spectators. But beneath the marble seats and the grand arches lies something sinister. The Hypogeum, a vast network of underground tunnels, cages, and chambers. This is where the horror would be kept until it was time for the show. May 80 AD, the Colosseum is complete. Vespasian is dead, but his son Titus, now emperor, will have the honor of opening Rome's new monument. The announcement goes out, 100 days of continuous games. The entire city gathers. Merchants close their shops. The streets are empty. 50,000 people flood the arches and take their seats. Free admission. Free food distributed throughout the day. The emperor sits in his private box, draped in purple. The velarium, a massive retractable awning worked by sailors positioned on the roof, is drawn back. Suddenly, the trapdoors open, and out into the sunlight pours an army of wild animals. The contemporary historian Dio Cassius recorded what happened next. Over 9,000 wild animals were slaughtered in the inaugural games alone. Lions brought from Africa, rhinoceroses and hippopotamuses imported from Egypt, tigers from the Far East, bears, leopards, aurochs, wild boar, animals the average Roman had never seen before and would never see again, hunted, trapped, transported thousands of miles in cages, only to die in the sand. Specialized hunters trained since childhood faced off against these creatures. Some hunts were elaborate. Hunters would pursue the animals across a landscape of trees and rocks that had been planted in the arena overnight. Other times, the animals would be simply herded out to be slaughtered. At midday, the games pause. It's time for the noon entertainment. Prisoners condemned to death are brought out, unarmed, naked. This is damnatio ad bestias, condemnation to the beasts. They are released into the arena as animals are brought forth. There is no escape, no mercy. The crowd watches in silence as justice, Roman justice, is delivered in blood. By the end of the 100-day inauguration, thousands of humans and tomorrow, they'll return. They'll fill the arena again. The blood will be washed away, fresh sand spread, and the Colosseum will demand more. For 324 years, the Colosseum was never empty. Day after day, game after game, Emperor Commodus, the subject of modern movies, was known to enter the arena himself, fighting against handicapped opponents and unarmed animals. Emperor Trajan celebrated his military victories with games so massive they lasted 123 days. 11,000 animals died. 10,000 gladiators fought. The ecological devastation was staggering. Entire species were hunted to extinction or near extinction across the Roman Empire. Hippopotamuses vanished from the Nile River, completely eradicated due to their capture and slaughter in Rome's arenas. Entire populations of lions, bears, tigers, and rhinoceroses were destroyed. The numbers over those 3 centuries were staggering. An estimated 400,000 humans, gladiators, slaves, prisoners, condemned criminals, enemy combatants, died in the Colosseum. Over 1 million animals, gone, slaughtered, reduced to sand and memory. Then, gradually, the game stopped. In 399, and again in 404 AD, the emperors officially banned gladiatorial combat. Christianity was rising. Moral objections to the spectacles grew. The Colosseum fell silent. Medieval families repurposed the arena into a fortress. For over 1,000 years, the Colosseum was treated as nothing more than a quarry. Marble seats ripped out and sold. Decorative materials stolen. Bronze fixtures melted down. 2/3 of the original structure was destroyed. Not by war or earthquakes, but by Romans themselves, people stripping the monument for profit. Today, tourists visit the Colosseum, 2 million a year. They take photos. They marvel at the engineering. They stand in the arena and try to imagine what it was like. But here's what most never realize. The Colosseum is not a symbol of Roman glory. It's a monument to extinction. It's a record of 1 million animals hunted to death. For 100,000 humans, many of them enslaved simply for being conquered, sacrificed for entertainment. It's a monument funded by the destruction of another nation's most sacred site. We call it one of the 7 wonders of the world. We celebrate it as a triumph of engineering. But if you listen closely to the silence of that empty arena, you might hear something else. The echo of a scream that lasted 324 years.